Because I think when you are living authentically and when you know that you've done everything you can to fight for your dreams and fight for the person that you know you're meant to be, you're going to be proud of yourself and you're going to begin to fall in love with yourself. Hello loves, welcome to another video. I hope you are doing amazing. I'm so happy to have you here. If this is your first video with me, my name is Jenna and I have an online crystal shop called Pretty Crystals where I sell crystals for healing, happiness, harmony, and home decor. As you can see, I have like a new little setup here that I thought we could call our little crystal corner, so I hope you enjoy it. Also, as you're seeing this, today is Saturday. Today is 11/11. It's Friday, but I'm going to be posting this tomorrow on Saturday, and I want to resume our crystal Saturdays because on my last channel I would post every Saturday and we would have like a crystal chit chat, crystal haul, and just a fun, you know, Saturday together. So I want to get back to that. Saturdays feel good. I hope that's good for you. I have a few pieces I want to show you. I mentioned in my last video that I might be going inventory shopping, and typically I go inventory shopping every week. I was going to go last week to the garage like I mentioned, but a couple things. First of all, I still am sitting on a lot of inventory, so I don't really need any new pieces right now. And second of all, the day I was supposed to go, I had such a stressful day. I just was not in the mood to drive there, do the whole thing, film. It was just a big no-no. So I didn't end up going, but I did go to my storage unit and that I threw all my stuff in when I left for a year, and there were a few crystal pieces in there that I brought out. Some are for sale, some are not, but they're really beautiful pieces and I wanted to share. So I thought we could have like a little crystal haul slash chit chat and get right into it. So get comfy, get cozy. This might be a doozy of a video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it helps you in some way. And get a drink. Let's get into it. What kind of prompted me to want to do a very honest, like, chit chat video today is that I got up this morning, was on social media, and just kind of got into that typical comparison mode and feeling really down about myself, looking at views, looking at my performance on Instagram. And if you don't know, I did Pretty Crystals for 2 years and I got the opportunity to leave the country for 1 year. I could have stayed longer, but I ended up wanting to come home after a year, and I had the luxury of not really being on social media at all and just taking the time for myself and exploring the world, exploring myself, and not posting, not really doing anything on social media after having been like heavily social media focused for years, like I would say 6 years. So coming back to it, to be honest, has been tricky to say the least. A lot has changed on social media. I think in the past year, a lot has changed in the world in the past year, and coming back to social media and just kind of being back in that very overwhelming place is a lot. And I was kind of like in my head today feeling discouraged, feeling not good enough, feeling like, I guess, anxiety, and just like, I mean, yeah, just like all the comparison crap that comes along with social media, unfortunately. And I'm not used to that anymore. I think for a long time I was just kind of living in it because that's all I was used to and that's all I knew, and I was putting all this pressure on myself to succeed in the social media world because I felt like that was my only chance, that was my only opportunity. Like, I did get a college degree, but I never felt connected to it, and I never felt like I wanted to work a regular job. You know, I have struggled with a lot of anxiety, a lot of social anxiety, so I just always felt like social media was my out, like my thing, my way to make a living for myself and meet people and just be successful and, you know, be creative. Like, it just worked. But with all that comes with a lot of the negative stuff, and like I'm you know, talking about the comparison and stuff. So being able to step away from that for a year was incredible, and I'm so happy that I got to do it. To be honest, I really miss the connections that I had with people on social media, mainly Instagram, but I did not miss how social media made me feel, and I did not miss scrolling all day long. I didn't miss it at all. So coming back to it and posting again and kind of having it be my lifestyle again, like I said, has been tricky. So I was talking to my friend Kelly about this. She also has a YouTube channel, which I will link below, but we were kind of going into how social media is not real and life is so hard, and the best thing to do is just be open and honest about what you're going through and what you're dealing with, instead of just like being a highlight reel. And I do on my channel want to come here and be happy and be good energy and be inspirational for you, because that is fulfilling and I love that. But I don't want to be just this happy look at me person all the time. Like, there's so much more to me than just, you know, being positive and happy. And I just want to make sure when I come back, I'm, you know, there's a bit of a balance, and that I'm being open and honest with you, exposing a little bit of the truth behind social media, which I think a lot more people are aware of these days, because it's just becoming more apparent and we're talking about it more. But, you know, certain things about social media really scare me, and that's just like where I'm at. So kind of, yeah, questioning what kind of path I want to take moving forward with it, and how I want to like maintain my sanity while also growing my business. That's just where I'm at. So I feel like I just talked a lot. Let's take a break. Let me show you a crystal. This is one of the pieces that I pulled out of my storage unit. So this is one of the pieces that didn't sell before I left, so I kept her, and she is a gorgeous amethyst piece. I clearly remember this kind of collection that I got. It was a bunch of different, I should have put my phone on silent. It was a whole group of amethysts that I got from one of my wholesalers, and they were all so unique. I'll show you some pictures here. I remember we had like an ice princess one that one of you just reminded me of the other day, because you still have it, which is so cool. It was just a really nice collection of amethysts, but for some reason this one didn't sell, which is totally fine. I absolutely love her. She's so stunning, a beautiful display piece that you could put anywhere, and as always, a good piece to put your jewelry on to charge as well. So absolutely in love with her. She is gorgeous and full of rainbows. I just remembered I do want to pull another one of these cards like we did last time, so that we have a little message moving forward in this video. See what message is meant for us today. Okay. Got a little girl in a little hat. It says, let go of the idea that you need to have anything other than happiness in your life. And that is beautiful. I'm like shaking. I don't know why. It's so true. It's so true. I think it's part of our life journey to kind of search for that and find it. So, nice little message. So, the next piece I want to share with you is another one that was in my storage unit, and this is just a beautiful, perfect rose quartz tower. Ooh, my goodness. See that rainbow? Let me try to get it on my phone. Such a pretty rainbow. Rose quartz always fades a little bit on camera. So yeah, she is a lot pinker in person. This is probably close to the highest grade of rose quartz you can find. As you can see, these are a bit lighter. So while I think they're both equally stunning, technically this would be like a higher grade rose quartz. This one I did put as available in my stories. I'm not gonna be upset if she doesn't sell because I absolutely love her, but I will make her available if anybody feels drawn to this beautiful piece. And on the topic of self-love that we are going to dive into today, rose quartz is known as the best crystal for self-love, of course. So, very beautiful. So I thought today I could go into my self-love journey and how I kind of got to where I am today, and maybe my tips for self-love, and hopefully that will help you a bit in your own life and on your own self-love journey. I'm gonna hold on to this baby while I talk about it. So, a little backstory, if you will. I've always, as far as I can remember, struggled with my confidence and with the way I looked, being in social settings. Like, I just have never been a naturally confident, outgoing person. I think this got really bad when I was in elementary school, and I remember being bullied pretty bad for my weight, and I was always a bigger girl, bigger than all of my friends. Yeah, I just remember getting bullied by the boys, picked on by the girls. There were two girls that I remember one time like pretended to be their brother and would like message me on AIM. If you're my age, you remember AIM back in the day. So they're messaging me, pretending that they have a crush on me and they want to go out with me. And of course, I got my hopes up. I got so excited. I felt so flattered. And then they ended up saying like it was all a joke and I'm fat and ugly and he would never go out with me and stuff like that. So things like that, really kind of killed my self-esteem and made it very hard for me to trust people. I'm an only child and I come from like a very kind of small, loving family, which I'm very blessed for. But when I ventured out into the world, which can be very cruel, it was quite a rude awakening from a young age. And yeah, I think that just kind of like destroyed me a bit. And for a kid, I think those things are very hard to bounce back from. I struggled for years and years with my confidence, went through kind of every single eating disorder you can think of. Body dysmorphia, was in and out of therapy for most of my adolescence. And when I was 16 going on 17, I went through a very, very, very traumatic situation, which I am still not really comfortable sharing online. It's something very personal and sacred to me and just not something I feel comfortable talking about, but it impacted me more than probably anything else in my entire life, changed the whole trajectory of my life. And it was at this point in time where I started I was so depressed and I started drinking a lot. I started partying, doing drugs, and I met a girl who I ended up dating for quite a few years. And sorry, I just had to restart my camera. I started dating this individual. I was, I think, a junior in high school at that point. Anyway, her and I got involved in a romantic relationship, and I don't know if I should say this, but I feel like whatever. I know the term like narcissistic gets thrown around a lot these days, but this person was textbook that. She was extremely abusive to me, emotionally, physically, mentally. I don't know if mentally and emotionally are the same, but I kind of fell into this very, very toxic relationship for the next 4 years, which is like a very pivotal point in your life, I think, especially maybe for a female, like 16 through 21, like you're really growing into your adulthood, you're figuring out who you are. And I was just kind of in this warp of like toxicity, depression, drug use, alcohol abuse. Like it was just really, really bad. Eating disorders were at an all-time high. I did my first semester of college in New York City, and I had to take a semester off to get into therapy because I was just in such a bad headspace. And I remember being on the bathroom floor after taking a ton of laxatives and having the worst stomach cramps ever, and just thinking like, I need help. This is not okay. I am going to die if I continue on here. And I got on a bus that day and like came home and started therapy. So that was the kind of spiral that I was in my teenage years, and unfortunately it did not end there. And as you can imagine, that was not great for my self-esteem. And unfortunately, after I dated this person, I continued on in a lot of other toxic relationships, and it was just something I was attracting into my life because I was willing to put up with someone treating me terribly because, you know, I suppose I didn't feel very good about myself, and I didn't feel worthy of love or of being treated nicely. So fast forward to when I'm about 25, I am in a really terrible place still. I'm in another really terrible relationship with another very kind of, let's just say, toxic individual. We lived together, and I was working in the restaurant industry, which if you've ever been in the restaurant industry, you know that that is also very toxic. And I was so fed up. I was so done with being in those kinds of relationships, with feeling so crappy about myself. And I knew in my heart that I deserved more, and that I wanted more, and that more was out there. And if I didn't take a leap of faith and try to find it, I again would die. Like, I was going down such a terrible, terrible path. And that is when I decided it was time for me to move to California. I grew up in New York, by the way, so I was on the East Coast, and I always had this inkling inside that like California was it. Like, it was where I was meant to be. There was something so magical and majestic about California to me, and I just knew whatever it took, I had to get my ass to California and start a new life, start over, and kind of commit to a better lifestyle and a better mindset, and commit to being the person I wanted to be and that I felt like I was meant to be, you know? So I moved to California, and this is when everything kind of started looking up for me. I really cut out alcohol. I cut out toxic relationships, whether that be friendships or romantic relationships. To be honest, I have not been in, well, I've been in one romantic relationship since I've been in California. So in 6 years, I've been single. Have not really given any men or women the time of day. It's been a journey of the self, and that, I guess, falls into where I'm going with this whole self-love thing. I think self-love comes down to getting very real and honest with yourself on what you want out of life and what is going to fulfill you and make you happy, and really start taking the steps to go for it. I knew that if I stayed in New York, I would continue a horrible pattern. I would never get out of my depression. I would never stop having anxiety. I just had this gut feeling that I belonged in California, and that I wanted to be this kind of like spiritual goddess that I feel that I have grown into. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Getting very real with what you want out of life, who you want to be, and following that. Yeah, I think it doesn't have to be this big jump from one side of the country to the other, or even like taking a year off to travel. Like, it doesn't have to be anything big like that, but what are little things that you can start doing in your life that are going to start transitioning you into the person you want to be? Because I think when you are living authentically, and when you know that you've done everything you can to fight for your dreams and fight for the person that you know you're meant to be, you're going to be proud of yourself, and you're going to begin to fall in love with yourself. I've always been a very like solitary, independent person, but I now more than ever am I would say, my own best friend. I love my alone time. I love being with myself. If I had the choice to like go out with another person or just go out to dinner by myself, truly, a lot of people don't believe me when I say this, but I would kind of choose to be alone. I love myself and I'm really proud of myself, and it's taken me a long time to get to that place, but I think I just always envisioned in my head the life that I wanted to live, and I went for it and I fought for it, and I'm by no means where I want to be, and I have by no means tackled my biggest goals or even like my bigger goals, but I'm on my way and I'm fighting for it, and every day I'm like figuring life out and trying to be the best person I can be. And I think self-love just really comes from following your heart, your passions, and becoming the person that you idolize, because if you do that, then how can you not love yourself? You know? Yeah. Oh no, my battery's gonna die. All right, I'm gonna charge my battery. I'll come back and then I'll show you a couple more pieces as well. Alrighty, we are back and I changed my top, as you can see. Before we get back into our chitty chat, I do want to share with you this piece. I don't think I'm going to part with this one. She is very special to me. I found her when I was in Hawaii with my friend, sorry, that's lucky. With my friend Jenny, and we did some crystal shopping, and when I saw this piece I just thought it was so beautiful and unique, and selenite is my favorite crystal. It just makes me feel the most at peace. I don't know, I love it so much. So this is a real beauty. Maybe I will give her up someday, but not yet. She still has work to do with me. So yeah, as I was saying, I think it's just so important to figure out how you can be your own best friend, like spoil yourself, you know? And I will say this too, because this is very near and dear to my heart. If you are in any sort of toxic relationship, whether it is romantic or friendship, because I've had plenty of toxic friendships as well, you need to get the hell out. I need one of those shirts, the Dump Him shirts, because that is like my motto. I just would never want anyone else to waste their time with someone who doesn't see their value, because the more time you spend with this person devaluing you and treating you less than you deserve, the less time you're going to have on your self-love journey and finding yourself and treating yourself well, and then hopefully meeting a person that is going to treat you right. But I'm very, very adamant about getting out of toxic relationships, even if they're just a little bit toxic. Don't try to fix him or her. Don't try to help them. Get out. Just get the hell out. So that is my little piece of advice. I also asked on Instagram if anyone had any ideas for me to talk about, and my friend Aaliyah said, have you had any regrets during your crystal journey that made you second guess it? And I actually DM'd her and I said, do you mean like the crystal business journey or just crystal journey in general? Because interestingly enough, and this will be like a whole other video if anyone's interested, but when I was away, I made a conscious effort to not use my crystals. For a while, I just kind of took a step back from my spiritual practices. I know this is so nuts, but I even started researching like just a lot about New Age spirituality, and I started watching videos of people who went from like New Age to Jesus. It's very interesting. I just kind of like went down that rabbit hole, and I was just questioning a lot. Like if I'm reading the Bible, you know, I'm like questioning some things. So it was an interesting journey. That's a whole other topic about like my crystal journey, but she meant the crystal business journey. And I can say, do I have any regrets about that? I think yes and no. It's hard because when crystals are something that you turn to as kind of like an escape, and then it becomes your business and your livelihood, lines can get blurred, if you know what I mean, and then you kind of lose your sense of escape. And you know, when crystals used to be something that I would look at and just would make me so happy, now there's kind of that connotation of like, oh, I haven't sold those yet, or like, you know, all the little like business thoughts that kind of get in your head. So that's definitely something I have to be conscious of. But if I'm honest, that would be my one little like downfall about the crystal business, is that it kind of takes away the lightheartedness of crystals, if that makes sense. But at the same time, it's like the best thing I've done in my life, and I love it so much I wouldn't trade it. But you know, it gets tricky, just like anything else in life. It is what it is. So also, I am holding in my hand a beautiful Vera Cruz piece. I fell in love with Vera Cruz amethyst not long before I left. I just started researching them more and playing with them more, and the little ones I just think are so stunning, and I would always carry them in my wallet. And I have this big baby, which I am holding on to because I love so dearly. Oh, I also wanted to share with you, this is one of the pieces on the website. Just some dog hair. She is a gorgeous, oh, look at that color, gorgeous amethyst piece, and I had mentioned that if I had this piece, I would display her standing up, just because on the sides you kind of see that green, which is not really aesthetic. It's not ideal. And when I was in my storage unit, I found these stands. So I did want to mention, if anyone's interested in this piece with this stand, it's not really going to work on this chair, but it's just this beautiful acrylic stand, so you don't really see any of it, but then you can display it standing up, and I will probably take some footage of that so you can see better and have an idea of what I mean. But that is available on the website, which is www.prettycrystals.shop if you are interested in shopping any of the pretty pieces. And what else? Oh, there was one last little beauty I wanted to show you. This is another personal collection piece that I found in my storage unit. She is a gorgeous Druzy amethyst. If you were with me when I went to Oregon to do some shopping, we had quite a few of these, and I snagged one for myself. The guy who sold them to me said the mine was closed, which means these are kind of like one of a kind pieces. Well, not one of a kind, you know what I mean, like rare, whatever, you know what I mean. And so I snagged this one for myself, and they're just so beautiful. So yeah, if you were with me in Oregon and we did that live sale, some of you may still have some of these gorgeous Druzy pieces. Oh, it's just like candy. I feel like I've talked a lot in this video, and it does feel kind of good to like get that off my chest. Kind of feels like a little bit of therapy. I will mention this also, this is a bit personal, but when I got home, I did end up going on antidepressants. I have not dabbled in prescription pills in a very long time, like 5 years probably, is the last time I tried antidepressants. And my mom is a nurse practitioner, and she has always recommended that I try some sort of antidepressant, and I was always like, no, I'm fine. Like, I was very into my meditation, my spiritual practices, but when I got home, I thought, why not give it a try? Like, I feel like there are certain things about my mental health that are kind of out of my control, and if I had a little assistance, I might have a better quality of life. And I'm all about creating, you know, the best quality of life you can. So I tried it, and it's been about a month. I'm on 20 milligrams of Prozac, and I will say it's helping me quite a bit in a few different ways. So only saying that, I don't know if I'm gonna leave this in the video, but yeah, that's just something else that I'm trying to remain aware of, like, in my journey, because obviously, like, my mental state is shifting a little bit due to the medication, but I will say overall it's like a positive experience. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like more of like the raw, honest story time kind of videos, please let me know. I have lots of life experience and stories that I am willing to chit chat about, especially with traveling. I can talk a lot more about that because everyone puts like traveling on a pedestal, and like it was the best experience of my life, but like it was also really hard, and really there's just so many things I think people don't talk about as far as like being a digital nomad and traveling full time. Like there's just so much I could get into on that. So if you're interested, let me know. I hope you will subscribe to the new channel. I'll be here every Saturday. You can also find me on Instagram at Pretty Crystals. Still trying to figure out my social media journey. I am very hesitant about full force into like TikTok and Instagram because it just gets to be a lot, and if I'm being honest, I'm just a little overwhelmed with all of the social media stuff again. So I don't know, we'll see how that goes. But I do want to commit to YouTube. I do feel strongly about committing to YouTube. I feel like it's much more like personal experience, and I enjoy it, and I feel like there's a lot of you that I just like really connect with and really appreciate having here and enjoying my videos. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, I mentioned this last video, I do plan on coming out with these body chains and hand chains very soon. Let me see if I can give you like a better view of these. These are moonstones. You've got 3 moonstones here and 1 clear quartz here, and there are these gorgeous body chains that can just like dress up any outfit, and I feel like such a goddess when I wear these. I think I'm gonna go to San Francisco on Sunday and do some photos of them because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's not good enough to, I just want some promotional content, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to just be like, hey, here's this body chains available now. So I really want to do some kind of shoot, maybe in San Francisco. We'll see. But yeah, kind of similar to like I did with the the Goddess Lariat necklaces when I went to the beach and did the whole shoot thing. And speaking of the Veracruz, why do I keep saying Veracruz? Speaking of the Goddess Lariat necklaces, they will be out soon as well. They are literally on their way to us, and I'm very excited about that. So yeah, shop the pretty pieces, prettycrystals.shop. Send me an email if you would like to. I'll have all of my info down below. I am always open to receiving comments, suggestions, what you want to see, what you thought, all of that. Leave me a comment. I have like a crazy skin rash, I tell you. It started when I was in Albania, and now I will like break out over my whole entire body, and it gets really itchy. I don't know if you can see how red my arm is, but it's like the weirdest thing. Anyway, yeah, chat with me over on Instagram in the comments here. I love you so much, and cheers to you wherever you are on this life journey. We're in it together. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video and over on Instagram. Bye!